Hi. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing how long it takes to start a business. There are a lot of factors that go into starting a business. Some of them are whether the business is home based or whether you're going to need a business location, because a home based office, like, you don't really have to do any setup work from that standpoint. But if you need a business location, you have to find a business location, you have to remodel it. Um, and that can take 3 to 6 months. Just just finding the location and remodeling it. And if you have to build the business location, I mean, then you could be talking a year or two. So I mean, it can vary dramatically. But I mean, like, for instance, there's contractors for quick builds like McDonald's that can almost build a location in like a month. It's amazing. Um, so uh, whether your business is home based is going to be the first consideration you'll have as to how long it takes to start a business. Then you'll also want to consider whether you are buying products or you're having them manufactured, um or like if you're doing drop shipping or something like that. Those, how you're getting your products, can impact your business dramatically, because if you have to design and send out to get a prototype, that can take a while. I know someone who it's taken 3 years to complete to get products completed. Um, but meanwhile, if you're just ordering products, I mean, shipping times can be 6 to 8 weeks normally, but you might also have longer extensions because uh, a barge gets stuck in the Panama Canal like it did during the pandemic. Um, and then if you're doing print on demand, there's really, or drop shipping, there's really no extra time for you to start the business before you can start doing that, because as soon as you find the suppliers, you're good. With special business licenses, so normal business licenses are really easy to get. You literally just go online, you apply for them, and pay the fee, and you're approved normally immediately if your location's got a reasonable tech system. But other business licenses can be much more challenging. For instance, they might have educational requirements or years of experience to get them. You may have to take tests like the PE exam for engineering, or a contractor's license exam, which some places have, or there may be really thorough background checks, which all of these things can dramatically increase the time it takes to open a business. So, I mean, most of them shouldn't be that long, but I mean, if you don't have any contractor's experience, you're probably not going past the contractor's exam, so you have to study for it, and you may have to take classes. So, every exam I've ever taken that was for work purposes, I would say that I normally needed a minimum of a month for. But I mean, then you have what educational requirements does it have? If it requires a certification, you're probably talking about 3 to 6 months to start the business. Assuming there's no other factors that impact it. If it's an associate's degree, you should assume 2 to 4 years, depending on whether you can go full time or whether you're having to do part time. And then there's other things that occur as well. Then for a bachelor's degree, you're talking 3 to 6 years. I mean, I completed my bachelor's degree and master's degree in 3 years, so it's achievable to do really amazing things. But when you're talking about doing stuff like that, it's really stressful and you have no time for anything else. So I don't suggest trying to get 2 degrees done in less time than your bachelor's degree normally takes. Um, let's see, for obviously like lawyers and doctors and advanced education, the time to be able to become one's much more longer. You're talking about 10, 12 years before you're actually able to be a licensed business. Um, uh, so you do need to be aware of those, and I'm going to explain later how to find what kind of requirements you have. Then the next requirement that some jobs will have is years of job experience. For instance, contractors' licenses in Nevada, where I'm from, require a few years of job experience and some recommendations as well as an exam. So you have to meet those qualifications for years of job experience before you be able to do the job. You can start the business, but you'll have to find somebody else to work for you that will meet those requirements. So you can't just be like, hey, I'm about to graduate from med school. I'm going to start my business and start treating patients. You can't do that. Nor can you be like, hey, I just finished my HVAC associate's degree. I'm going to start a business. If you haven't worked in the field, they're not going to let you without having someone with the job experience be part of the team. But most business owners start as solo entrepreneurs and then bring team members on as they get a higher level of success. If you need financing, financing can take 3 months to a year. So that's something that can impact a business as well. And you'll need to be very cognizant of that when you're doing your planning. And you should always try to do everything you can without financing, though, because a lot of this startup stuff, I mean, you shouldn't really need financing if you're trying to start a company that just needs a basic website. I mean, you can build that yourself. And if you can't, you might want to learn how, because every single thing you have no understanding of is a thing that you're probably not going to get what you want in business. So just take your time, learn how to build a basic website, and then once you've earned some money, hire someone to build a better one. That being said, how long would I normally expect businesses to take to start? Most home-based ones, where you're not traveling around and stuff, most home-based ones you can start in a month or less. Ones that require a business location would typically take about 3 to 6 months, as long as you are renting. But construction, financial institutions, and ones that require an education can take years. I mean, and so the way you'd want to figure out ones that require education is look at the education level And if there's any other years of experience, add that amount of experience to your educational level, because you're probably not going to really be able to do both at once. Um, so then the best way to find this information is to go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It says education. I'm looking at how to be an administrative services or facilities manager. Uh, what a facilities manager is the person who would manage, say, the cleaning crews, the HVAC, the electricians, plumbers in larger buildings. So they typically need a bachelor's degree, which means 4 years of school. They'll also need work history in the positions below them. So that's normally 2 to 3 years. So right there, you're looking at about 7 years if you want to run a facility management company. If you already have the experience and the degree, obviously the time goes way down, but that's not guaranteed. But you can see here on the Bureau of Labor Statistics exactly how to become one, what gives you an advantage. For instance, if you get certified by the IFMA or the Institute of Certified Records Managers or ARMA, you have a leg up on someone who doesn't have these certifications. These certifications really, and I've actually looked at the IFMA because my background in HVAC made it where it might have been a possibility for me to take it. At the time, I didn't qualify for the years of experience, but it's a really thorough test. It's actually one of the more thorough tests I've ever prepped for, and I would, but it's definitely a value because it shows accounting, it shows some engineering, it shows how to manage people and deal with OSHA and stuff like that. So there's a lot of information that you can glean from this page. But from the standpoint of Upflip, which I'm recording this to make it where admins can do this, but I also want for the average person to be able to benefit from this because it's useful. So I put the education. This was from the janitor services. There's no education required. It's just for janitorial services, you don't need any education. But I did include some links of industries that would help you do that. So that's basically explaining how long it takes. So basically, just to reiterate for the admins in case they didn't really glean some of the information I'm supposed to be giving them for this one. You're looking for the education, and then I've provided a chart. I've provided a chart of how long that's for certifications. If it says there's industry experience, you need to see how much industry experience there is. In most scenarios, I just add 2 years because every state's different. But most of the time, if it requires experience plus education, just add 2 years if you don't see a specific number. But you can also look if it has certifications, which this one does. Um, you can go and look on their website. So a certified facility manager. Okay. Determine eligibility. What's your eligibility? Okay, so it shows on this one. So 5 years or 3 years plus education. So it's a little longer than I estimated with the bachelor's degree or master's degree, but it's close enough that people have a realistic estimate. Um, so that's another way you can find this information if you need to. But I just start with the BLS. All right, thank you. We'll have another course for you shortly. Have a wonderful day.